Hi, welcome back everyone. As you all know, this league GG added new runegards, which changes your mastery to something else. One of the runegards stands above all of them, and I'm talking about runegard of Angler. As soon as I saw patch notes, I instantly knew that I would like to make some builds with it. But unfortunately, as the league went, it appears that this runegard is rarer than a mirror, due to relatively low amount of shipments that people were sending and the prices of runegard was accordingly high. But enough of that, and let's start talking about the build. Runegard of Angler makes us always do critical strikes while we're wielding a fishing rod. Because fishing rods are kinda pointless as a weapon, there are only a couple of builds that can really benefit from always dealing critical strikes. And the most obvious one is going to be any build that focuses on explosions. Because by default, explosions have 0% of critical strike chance. This way we can achieve crazy amounts of damage for practically nothing. But in order for us to even proc explosions, we obviously need to kill enemy first. Since I like lazy playstyle builds, for my main skill of choice I decided to play Herald of Thunder. So the idea is pretty simple. I'm going to be focusing on getting fast character, and for the single target, using Herald of Thunder, and explosions within say AoE will handle the clear. Okay, let's talk about the damage scaling. This build has several sources of damage scaling. First one is crit multi. Marolane's Fallacy is a perfect amulet for this build. It gives crazy amount of crit multi and current strike. And because we always deal critical strikes, we don't care about downside of this amulet. To boost crit multi even further, I'm getting some from the tree and from the anointment. Herald of Thunder is really weird skill, which doesn't scale with the spell damage. So we need to find another way to get more damage. Here's where shock comes to the help. With some scaling from the tree for shock effect, maximum shock effect, and maximum shock from the crackliness of disintegration, we can achieve 65% shock on the enemies all the time. Next source of the damage would be Primordial Bond and Spiritual Aid passive. In my version of the build, I have 12 golems, which will grant a lot of damage with some other useful buffs. This way we can scale general damage for even more. And while we are on the topic of minions, let's move forward to the Ascendancy and the way I'm scaling the AoE to crazy numbers. As you'll probably have guessed, we are going to be utilizing the Elementalist. In my opinion, this Ascendancy is the most flexible Ascendancy in the game right now. Shaper of Storms, Heart of Destruction, and Leech of the Primordial are our Ascendancy points of choice. Shaper of Storms will help us with the shock generation, while Hearts of the Destruction and Primordial, with bunch of golems, will give us a lot of damage and AoE. Luckily, fishing rods are considered as a two-handed melee weapon. This means that we can utilize the best clusters to get the AoE to absurd numbers. One medium cluster with Assert Dominance and Titanic Wings will give us 40% increased AoE, and we have 6 of them. Combining every source of the increased AoE, this build has around 550% increased area of effect. This way we can explode enemies off-screen. And last but not least, as much as I don't like using Dorian's Merc, it fits perfectly in this build, as it will increase the damage by more than 4 times. And this is pretty much it when it comes to the build. Now, as usual, let's move forward to the gear. For the weapon, I'm using any fishing rod. Ideally, it will have some cast speed so that we can move a bit faster with Frostbling, but it's not really necessary. For the helmet, I'm using Dark Monarch for doubling the count of golems. For the corruption, I'm using Effect of Shock. For the body armor, we have 2 options. Cheaper one is Carcass Jack with +1 to skill corruption or +2 to AoE skills. And the more expensive one is Explosive Chest. If you're interested in how to craft this chest, you can ask me in the Discord or the Twitch. In cheaper version, I'm using Astronaut Gloves with +1 to Frenzy Corruption. For higher budget, you can use Null and Void with any Curse and Hit corruption. We need some source of Curse and Hit in order for our Profane Bloom to work. Boots are double elevated Tailwind and Onslaught boots with Elusive. To craft them, you need to buy item level 75 and higher Hunter boots and outspam until you get Tailwind. Then Regal, lock suffixes and reforge attack. Then use Orb of Dominance. Then we need another pair of Redeemer boots with item level 80 or above. Alt spam until you get Onslaught, Regal, lock suffixes, and reforge critical and use Orb of Dominance. Then use Awakening's Orb to combine them together. Then lock suffixes again and reforge crit to get Elusive. And that's basically it. Amulet is Marolane's Fallacy with Heartseeker Anoint. And don't forget to catalyst it. The rings are Storm Secret. Those rings are basically required for the Herald of Thunder to work. For the belt, I decided to use Headhunter, as I wanted to try to do some alloy with this build. The flasks are Quicksilver for speed, Aurea's End for the explosions, Adziris for more damage and leech, Bottle Fate for the damage, and Rarity Flask. Now let's talk about the tree. I'm getting Elemental Mastery for reduced Elemental Reflect. With the combination of Pantheon, I can become immune to it. Then Spiritual Aid, some life with buff duration Runegraft, Golem passive with Runegard of Angler, Maximum Shock Mastery, Instant Leech, Crit Multi, and some AoE. Now let's talk about the jewels. I'm using 3 identical large minion clusters with Primordial Bond and any of these 3 passives, which will make the Primordial at the front. It's kinda easy to craft them for yourself. I was profit crafting them for the entire league. To craft this specific jewel, you just need to buy item level 84 and above base and use Harvest Reforged Life. Spam it until you get Primordial Bond and increased effect. Then use Exalt Orb for another mod. If you want to do it for profit, you can just buy base item level 68 and above and spam until you get Primordial Bond with one of those 3 passives, and that's it. For the mediums, I'm using 6 area damage clusters with Titanic Swing and Assert Dominance. You can also self-craft them or profit craft them and sell them. Just get the base item level 68 and above and spam Harvest Reforged Attack until you get those 2 mods. If you want to know how to find those profit crafts, then follow me on Twitch. Then unique cluster with Lone Messenger, another small cluster with Enduring Composure and some necessary attributes. Rare jewel with CB immunity and some crit multi and minion damage. Forbidden set with Profane Bloom. 3 elemental damage Grand Spectrums. Goris Vanity with Corrupted Soul notable. It's kinda necessary for you to get some leech, so try to get it on this passive. Now let's move forward to the gems. In the gloves, I'm using custom damage taking setup with Crackling Lens of Disintegration for additional maximum shock, and I'm linking it with Enhance and Innervate to get even more damage. Then, in the Fishing Rod, Immortal Call custom damage taking setup with more duration and Stone Golem of Horrors. In the helmet, main golem setup with Flame Golem, Stone Golem, Lightning Golem, and Enhance. In the body armor, main damaging links with Herald of Thunder, Empower, Awaken Elemental Focus, Increase Critical Damage, Awaken Added Lightning Damage, and Energy Leech. In the boots, Phase Run, Enhance, Frostling, and Blood Rage for Phrasing Generation. And finally, the Merc. I'm using default Durianis Merc. It doesn't really matter which one you use. I had Kinetis hired already, so I decided to use him. And since I'm stacking as much movement speed as I can, having Haste Aura is a nice bonus. Since Herald of Thunder doesn't consider to be a spell, Wrath Aura is kinda useless. And well, this is it guys. This build is pretty straightforward. It's not the cheapest Autobomber, but it's definitely one of the best ones. I'm farming Aloes with it without any problems at all. Yes, you will die sometimes, but if you play right, you are not really dying that often. After you play some fast Autobombers, it's really hard to get back to slower characters. Right now, I'm already in the process of theory crafting next build, so stay tuned. If you like the content, don't forget to like and subscribe, and follow me on Twitch. If you want to support me financially, there are links in the description below. And I will see you in the next one. Bye!